Sudhanshu. I would like to welcome to the Research Labs podcast.
Thank you.
We have been doing this, I would say, for the last 2 years now. Like on the 1st of September, we complete 2 years. And it has been quite a journey. And I was reading about what salt is doing at the moment. And I would say the way I relate to it is in India, particularly, there is not a lot of knowledge available as to how to raise funds for a lot of people who are trying to get started. And when I saw that you are trying to literally solve, the inconsistencies in that workflow, I was very interested, first of all, to see how you are trying to do it. At the same time, every now and then I am in a conversation with entrepreneur or a founder, so I would say now I have someone to refer to. Like I can always call you guys to help someone with their fundraising journey. So I'm very excited to ask all those questions. And I would like to thank you for your time.
Prathamesh, first of all, I'll thank you that you invited me on this platform. Uh, anyways, so I'll start with my journey at Salt. So when I got introduced to Ankit, my the founder of Salt, Ankit Parashar. So he was contemplating. He simply said, "We are doing some neobank in cross-border sector, cross-border space." Okay, so I was like, "Okay, what products are we looking at?" So earlier he was more on those PayPal kind of transactions. So people paying B2B, but on a smaller scale. But when the conversation moved to capital account transactions, I was stunned. And again, given my background, so I had 10 years of post qualification experience. So including internship, it's more than 14, almost 14 years. So I come from M&A tax background. So M&A is primarily merger and acquisition, where we used to advise client on a private equity kind of client. So those were really big clients on which we used to advise them on structuring, on due diligence, on anything related to tax and some. But the questions over there were pretty straightforward, and most of it we already knew that okay, these are the questions which are going to come in a particular deal. But what happened during Ankit's conversation, he he was trying to solve that problem for an early stage founder. So the moment he said ki, okay, I want to build a product out of it, I was like, okay, but there should not be too many problems. What I am seeing it, because essentially, see, being a CA, I see that there are 10 compliance you need to do. Okay, there is a checklist, there is a step, but the whole problem started when I started interacting with early stage founders. I must have spoken to around 100 of them till date, and everyone is stuck with something or the other. Like so a few of them have already commented me saying that I'll become a CA after this seed round is closed. So that is the problem which exists, and problem exists not only say it at one point. So if I take the process, so first I think fundraise process, the discussion is between an investor and founder. Okay, we can't do anything over it. So suppose Prathamesh want to raise funds with some venture capital, so he will only have to do that discussion. That letter of intent or something, if at all that is there, that is not there, that has to be signed. So once that part is frozen, then Salt comes into picture, and we take it up from there, from doing the SHA till the RBI filings if you are raising from foreign sources. So we are doing the whole process, which takes essentially 2 months of time in 15 to 20 days, which includes ROC compliance, banking. You have to have a separate bank account, which includes a valuation report, which includes RBI filing, everything. And Prathamesh, maybe you must have been through this fundraising process. You must have seen when you are doing it independently through a chartered accountant. You end up signing all those documents only. They send a bunch of document. You have to take a printout of it. You have to sign it. You have to send it to them. And if somewhere a stamp is missing or something, they'll come back and say, okay, you have to do it again. Then you resend it, and the whole process kinds of at time in it is in a limbo. So one of my client, as of now, so I think last 6 7 days he is traveling continuously. Maybe because of holidays, he must have planned, but he's traveling and he has to sign a bunch of document which his CA has given him, and he is not doing it. So what my platform brings is, okay, you sign on my platform, you get all documents on your email, and it is simple. On an email, I think email is accessible to everyone like WhatsApp. So what happens is, you receive on email, you can sign, how you do it through DocuSign, HeroSign, all those tools are available. You sign it then and there. I'll receive the document, I'll do the filings and everything. And also, okay, so maybe I'm rushing, so I'll kind of explain how you are onboarded on my platform. So the process is, once an investor is there already, you want to have a SHA, right? Shareholder SHA is shareholders agreement. In shareholder agreement, being an early stage founder, you are not kind of sure what are the clauses which should be there, which should not be there. Are these really harsh on your future funding rounds? How to do it? Because see, at times I have seen, in case of VCs, they have a set format. If you don't negotiate with them, they are going to like use the same template for everyone. But there is a scope of negotiation. There is a scope wherein someone can say ki, okay, I want to discuss these 3 4 clauses which is there, which is very important to me. So those kind of discussion can help, can be done through us. So we have our legal team at the back end. Yes, you can do it. So one part is solved, SHA. Then the second part comes is the compliance. I'm dividing it into 3 parts. Okay, first is valuation report. So if you are raising funds from outside India, you have to have a valuation report in place, because the logic is, RBI doesn't want to give something of India to an outsider without a proper valuation report. So you have to get it done. What happens in valuation report is, for an early stage founder, again, not for Series B, Series C people, but for an early stage founder who is looking for seed, pre-seed, they even don't know why a valuation report is required. So there are two kind of valuation report. One can be given by a CA, registered CA who is a registered valuer. One is a merchant banker report. Again, there is a cost distinction to it. Merchant banker report is much costlier than a CA report. Uh, so so Merchant banker, it can, the report starts with 1 lakh of rupees. That is how I'll put it, because that merchant banker has to get himself registered with SEBI. He has to maintain a certain balance, net worth. Then only he is a merchant valuer. So again, but for my fundraising round, you only need a registered valuer report, which we primarily provide. So what we have also done to automate this whole valuation piece, we have actually bought a Europe-based platform recently, and we are kind of democratizing it. Like, okay, one step back. So when valuation report in a normal scenario happens, a CA just asks for a list of information, give me the projections and all, and I will, after 7 8 days, I'll give you a valuation report. And again, 2 3 discussions, basic discussions happens over a call. And this generally, I say 7 8 days, but in my experience, I've seen minimum 15 days is what uh, the whole process takes. But so that platform what we have taken, a founder can create their plan then and there. So what is a plan? Business plan, it is actually projections, income, how you are looking at it, expenses, capital expenses, what you are contemplating, and then the number flows through those maths through discount. So cash flows is there, then that has to be discounted at current value, and then a valuation is derived. So what we are doing is, once once a founder is there on my platform, he simply fills those number. The valuation kind of calculates itself. uh, there are few variables which you can change, you can add, subtract, you can do those things, but a kind of you are able to achieve a valuation report on yourself. So once that is there, what it is easy for a valuer to like understand what you are doing. He doesn't have to go to an Excel sheet and do the working again and everything. No, uh, one discussion with valuer if at all that is necessary, because if you are writing all the assumptions and all, I don't need a discussion also per se. For an early stage founder, most of the deals for valuation, you understand, maybe they say if 10 crore ka valuation, and I'm post money valuation, and I'm pushing in so much of money for so much of equity or CCDs. It is as simple as that. So ideally you have to reach that valuation whatever the VC is saying. So we are kind of automating the whole process without manual intervention over there. So once that valuation bit is solved, I move on to the ROC compliance piece. So ROC compliance, again, it is simply having board resolutions, shareholder resolution. These are simple things which has to be done, which is also a templatized format. Okay, so for board resolution, you don't need to like scout for some agreement or something. It is kind of one pager, two pager only, which has to be signed, and then it has to be filed with ROC. So once valuation is done, we take the second bit is ROC. Regarding ROC compliances, we have kind of achieved the whole automation. Just that a manual intervention is there once you have to file something with ROC. So the process is automated, but at the back end, I am like filing the, so an actual CA or CS is filing the return. But again, these are simple compliances which where I mean errors can happen, because see, if I ask you to fill name of the company at 10 places, it is a possibility you can miss a S or a dot or something, which while I was doing a manual process in RBI, we actually missed a dot, and RBI simply rejected the form. So what we are doing is, once the name of the company is freeze, obviously that name is going to float
It's carry forwarded to all the accounts. Yeah.
to all the documents, and uh, there is no room for these small errors. Also, when I am creating the whole workflow for the fundraise process, what happens is, see, that is vetted by a CACS. I have vetted it from two different teams, so you don't miss on any of the process. So while you are using my platform, you are aware of the whole process, you are seeing it step by step, you are learning it also, but at the same time the whole process is smooth. This is what we are trying to achieve. Third issue comes with banking. So this issue, banking issue, was new to me also. So I was from a consultancy background coming into a product field where I am actually seeing live scenarios. I wasn't aware that banking is such a difficult task for a small business founder. So even to open a bank account, so when if you're raising funds through foreign investor through private placement, you have to have a capital account, new capital account, they say. Otherwise, there is a lot of penalty involved. But even what people say, even if it is a zero balance capital account which was used earlier, you can use the same. But since it is early stage founders, they don't have, they simply have one current account, and that's it. They are not even aware of capital account. So to open that capital account, usually banks takes around 7 to 8 days to start that process, because you don't know where to knock. So your current account RM, if you call them, so they'll say ki they'll connect you with some other person, because that person is not going to open your capital account. That is for sure. So there is a separate team out there in bank. So if you are with Salt, so we know the right person. Obviously, we have a banking partner. We use that banking partner only for opening accounts. So bank account opening process takes 2 days time, because as per RBI mandate, an account is only opened when a branch person visit the proprietor's address. So the founder's address. So it has to be there, and this is how. So that is the reason it takes 2 days. But the problem uh, in banking, what I'm going to discuss, what was unknown to me 7 8 months earlier also, so is this, like, to receive funds from outside you need to share one particular form, MT103 they say, and that 6 pointer KYC, to like simply make people understand, that KYC has to be filled with exact things what is to be what that KYC has Nostro account details of India Bank, क्योंकि so this is going to be a capital account transaction, तो वहाँ so India का बैंक अकाउंट, सो इंडियन बैंक का यूएस में अकाउंट जो नोस्ट्रो अकाउंट है उसके डिटेल्स, देन पर्पस ऑफ रेमिटेंस, एड्रेस, फ्रॉम विच पार्टी इट इज कमिंग. We have to make sure that VC, while they are transferring the fund, they don't transfer it in INR. I need it in USD only in my Nostro account. So I have to give them a specific instruction. And in spite of saying this 10 times to people, people make mistake. That is very yes, they make mistakes. So what is to be done? So if you're raising 100K dollars from a foreign VC in an Indian company, so in your resolution you can't write $100. You have to convert it in INR, and that exact INR has to come in your bank account. If you take less amount, you have to bring the balance amount. If you take more, you have to refund back the whole amount, not the whole amount but the differential amount, and that is a separate process in itself. So if I am saying 100K converting at 80 lakh of rupees is exactly what I want, not even 1 rupee less, not even 1 rupee more. So I want my investor to transfer 100,000 K in that Nostro account, and I will take whatever equivalent INR is there, I'll take it from there, and the money gets refunded from there. So if it is a 100K investment, we generally say please transfer 101 or 102, $1 or $2,000 extra. But uh, one of my recent client, what they did was I shared a MT103 with a Seattle address. So the investor was based out of Seattle, and I don't know why and how they, when they were remitting, they wrote their address as San Francisco, and because of this, the whole RBI filings process got distorted, and I had to get that corrected, and that got corrected after a month. So,
Wow.
so what
Just
happens
one
is
small error, yeah.
banks interact through themselves through Swift message only. It's not that I write an email, so they don't do that. So that Swift message I have to say to my Indian banking partner, please write a message on this Swift number so that they update the address. So after they have shared that message, I have to follow up with my investor. Okay, your bank must have received it, this message. Please ask your bank to respond. And because of this, to and fro, because initially it started ki uh, investor can directly say ki please update the address. That is the easiest part. Indian bank not getting into action, but that never happened. So the whole process took 1 month. So these are very small things, but in my short journey at Salt, I have seen clients struggling with it. One of our client, he is still not able to transfer money because his account is frozen. Indian account is frozen.
Because of such an small
Yes, yes,
naming error, maybe. Wow.
yes. So that is the problem we are dealing with in in cross border transaction. So we are not only solving the banking piece, but also the whole compliance workflow around it. So banking piece is just a part of it.
That makes sense.
So once the ROC banking, once the money is received, you have to do certain compliance. So again, it's not that as soon as money is received, you are free to use your money. No, I have to allot shares to my shareholders who are investing. So once that allotment, so again, allotment, you can do it in next 30 days also. And if you go to a normal CA, yes, once the money is there, they will take 2 3 days, and then only those forms will be filed. What we do is, since it is automated, all the templates is already there. You can simply sign it, and in one day I give you an allotment, and you're free to use your money. Then I take a pause because I have to, after allotment, within 30 days you have to file with RBI if it is a foreign investor. That RBI things can be done, like, okay, it can be done in next 5 days also, it can be done in next one day also. It is
It
totally
does
about
not
that.
restrict the usage of money directly.
Right. The only problem what found, because see, early stage founder, you will understand, you need that money as soon as possible because you have bills to pay already. The bills are there, salaries has to be paid. Because I have seen people taking loan on themselves and then paying salary. So they are paying that 12 13% of interest. So
Because of
I
the delay, particularly.
Yes. So what we are trying, so when we I started talking to my circle, CACS in practice, this simply said it takes 60 days. Yeah, uh,
There is no
take it or
other
leave it,
way.
50 days to lagega hi lagega. That is how the whole thing was. When I said ki, okay, can we not reduce? So Ankit had a vision ki we can reduce it to one day. That is again not possible in India context. But when I said them ki, can we rationalize it to 15 20 days, they said no, not possible. When I was talking to my fraternity people, they were like, okay, it's not possible because in banking also, suppose fund transfer has happened, but bank has not given you that KYC detail. Bank has not given you FC, yeah, that certificate, FIRC certificate, which is a evidence that fund has come from foreign investor. So these two documents you have to run after bank to and fro. Like it takes around 3 4 days. But with us, since we have our banking partner already in place and they're bound by agreement, so we take it takes only 24 hours to generate those documents, and as soon as it is generated, it comes to us. So it's easier for us to comply. And also, for an investor, two things is of utmost importance. Otherwise, they won't be able to get proper exit. So two things are, one is this FIRC, and the second thing is the RBI filing FCGPR. So if these two things are not in place, be 100% sure that the investor is never going to get an exit. क्योंकि if some error is there, if these things are not in place, the investee has to do this process, say maybe 2 3 4 years down the line, and if any error is also there, not possible. You have to first rectify it, then only things can move forward. And
So even if the
problem comes
if,
if you have changed your banks.
okay,
Yeah.
like if there is an error, it can be rectified later on, or there is no provision for that
See,
also.
you can rectify, but coordinating with bank, it takes a lot of time over there. And so one of my friend in a PwC, so he was into the similar situation. Someone has not filed only FCGPR, and that investor is a big investor. I can't name it, but investor is a big investor, and they had invested 5 6 years back. And that point of time, they were not so much conscious about all this paperwork. Now, the investors are kind of know that okay, these two documents I need it from these people, but at that point of time they never cared, and that FIRC is having a name mismatch. They have not filed FCGPR, and FIRC is having a name mismatch, and the whole process is for a toss. And even these big consultancy firms are not able to figure out how to plug this and get it sorted. Last I update was ki okay, it's been 2 months. That person in person is visiting bank to sort this out. So again, visiting banks can be a big, I'll say, it is a waste of time, money, everything.
Yeah, it's like a bottleneck,
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
which which can be kind of taken care of right in the beginning.
Yes. So if everything is in place, if you are using a tool which gives end-to-end compliance and banking, and someone is there from the support team to talk you through, I mean, it saves a lot of time and money also in future. And if we are automating things, obviously the cost is going to come down of the fundraise. So yes, it's I mean, it's a good platform. Even I explored after joining. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you guys come in after the founder has already kind of converted the investment, like the deal is done.
So
Could you
deal.
also share?
So deal
Yeah.
by meaning deal is an even a LOI is there. Yes,
Okay.
we are there. Okay, we get
A
a
letter of
hint.
intent.
Yes, this is kind of deal which is happening, and it 90% of the time it happens.
Makes sense. So I also wanted to ask you this because I think you said that if certain things are not taken care of in the first round of funding, especially if it's a first time founder, then he or she can face trouble going forward in the consequent round of funding, right? So let's say, do you guys also help founders figure out what strategies to deploy when raising funds, the first one especially, since it's very crucial?
Yes. So I'll talk a bit on. So we are not primarily a consultant firm, but that first level of discussion, yes, that is going to happen between our team and the founders. So it can be in one of our instant in our case, the deal was very clear, 5% equity for 100,000 K. That was written black and white. But still, we got on a call with founders saying कि see equity foreign investor, I don't think this makes sense. Preference shares is what they like to get. Maybe it you don't see any problem over here, but generally what happens is these VC fund want a preference shares. So can you circle back with them and look into it whether the mechanics of the deal, can it be adjusted or not? But again, their commercials were like free. So, but again, we did help them. So in another case, uh, what is happening is, so this flip structures are becoming common now. So people incorporating in US, then India, or Singapore and India. So there is a lot of gray areas around. And people simply just want to incorporate outside India, and they are nowhere aware what all compliance they need to do going forward once the structure is in place. And even objective is not here. I want to incorporate outside India because I'll raise from foreign investor. That cannot be a sole criteria for opening a company outside India, wherein you have a 2000 $2,500 compliance cost fixed attached year on year basis. And uh, and there are tax complications attached to it. So being in India, you operate a company in US, and then US incorporates in India. It is a kind of round tripping which RBI specifically disallow. So yes, we do guide founders on all these small aspects regarding flip structures too, regarding getting a clarity on what objective they are trying to achieve through these kind of structures, whether a convertible note is feasible, whether a CCP. So there are instruments for fundraise. It's not only equity; it is CCPs, CCDs. What are intricacies involved in all these instruments? Convertible notes bhi kar sakte. So one of my client, he came, said ki I want to close the process as soon as possible. That is his objective, as soon as possible, because his investor is NRI, and he's kind of finicky guy, and he wants to close the deal as soon as possible. And Then we suggested convertible notes. Convertible notes, because there is no valuation report required for it. So you take it as a loan as of now, and at a later point of time when you're raising a subsequent round or something, you built in those clauses, you convert it at a later point of time. So, but as of now, to raise funds, I opened his bank account. I simply did his convertible note ka agreement. I think twice it's discussion ki, these are the conditions. He wanted to give 30% discount. Those things were inbuilt, and the agreement was signed. Though the money has still did not received, I don't know why, but uh, basis objective we suggested, and he confirmed with his legal. Actually, there is no legal team, but his CA team, and he was kind of very happy saying that this structure was not suggested by my CA, but you guys, since you do it day in day out basis, that is the reason maybe. And he came to our office also thanking us ki, okay, you suggested this, but again the money has not come till date. That is my objective. Money should come uh, to him, but yes, we do suggest, but it's not a binding thing because we are not a legal firm or a structuring firm.
That makes sense. So apart from so we discussed a lot of compliance errors people make, like error in spellings and full stops, which when you think about it, might look very trivial in nature, but it can, as you mentioned, they can like delay the entire process by a month. What other mistakes do you see founders make, especially they are trying to raise funds, apart from the, let's say, compliance errors?
So while interacting with founders at later stage, early stage, say they once they have moved to later stage, so two of the founders said कि we have made certain mistakes, which if figured out can land me into a jail. So so and he says he has not done it intentionally. He wasn't aware he wasn't aware of those filings. He said कि इतना हो गया, पैसा आ गया, done है. I'm okay with it now. So FCGPR bit is ignored. One of them has not opened a bank account, and if you Google up for private placement, there was one case law which came which levied 2 crore of penalty on the founders because they had not opened a separate bank account to receive foreign funds. So they were miscomplying Companies Act, and that is the reason that extra penalty is there. Though the appeal and all, you can you can do it, but a substantial amount of time is wasted, efforts, money is also wasted in those litigation. So yes, and one interesting thing in SHA also, like people don't read it because it comes from a VC. They are like, okay, you simply have to sign it. There can be regressive clauses over there. So, but these are small things which we take care of because at the back end, someone with a CA and funding background is looking at all these documents.
So, for example, the story that you shared, that they did not even open a separate account because they were simply not aware. Is there a scenario where if that, let's say, is a problem, is there a clause where you can say that we were not aware, and will you be given the benefit of the doubt, or you will have to comply with the penalty?
See, generally in law that doesn't work. Like you say that you are not aware of the law, that is not acceptable. A penalty or whatever things are levied, that is direct. First, it is levied, then you protest against it, and law only leaves you when your intentions are correct. So it even if you're at times it is seen that even if your intentions were correct but you have not done certain filings and all, you have to pay interest, penalty, everything. It is there on the cards. So one more interesting case I saw in my this client interaction was one of the client. suo moto, I don't know who advised them and not. Based on his DD reports findings, he kind of went to RBI for compounding something. So for some mistake what they have done for, I'll say, 15-20 days, and that too not that glaring. It was kind, they were exploring that thing for which RBI permission is required, which and they said ki they have started doing business, and they were exploring again. Exploring versus doing business are two different things. And the Sumomoto went to RBI and said, ki, okay, we have done all this things, and we want to compound my offense. So RBI in this scenario, what they are going to do? They they have given a big penalty. That amount is really big, and that amount, that person is not even raised till date. So simple things. Uh, though we were not involved in raising rounds over there, but since one of our common investors were there, so he kind of asked us to look into it and find the root cause what has happened. And the root cause was, they simply, based on a DD report which was done by some law firm 1 year back, they simply did this thing. And with discussion with one of their CS, which I understand after con call, that she was not experienced in these matters. So the founder asked ki file karna, and that person said ki okay, let's file it. So there can be 10 things. People one of the founders said ki I want to have an ESOP pool as of now.
Hmm. Could you explain what that means?
What happens is, ESOP, people generally want to create an ESOP pool for their early employees or people who will be joining it. So generally that ESOP pool is around 10 to 15% of the company value, shares. So as and when important employees join or early employees join, they get shares from that pool itself. So that person wanted to do it right now before fundraise. So it's a very noble idea. Yes, you should do it before. But practically, in a US India structure, it was a US India structure. So a certain amount of paperwork is required at US, and he simply uh, wasn't clear. Should I do it right now? So then we suggested, okay, you raise this round, and then make sure, uh, because if you are doing the ESOP pool right now, investor has to wait, because to complete that process, once that is done, then only investor comes in. So you raise your round, you adjust your ESOP pool accordingly, so that investor stake is not diluted. So if investor is sitting with 5%, uh, after ESOP pool, his stake should be 5% only. So that was a simple advice which we kind of helped one of our client. So again, advisories are non-binding, but there are few logical things which someone has to speak. And if proper advisory is not there, it can create a lot of problem in future.
Every now and then you keep on mentioning these are small things, but when you actually you also share the consequence of those small errors, and the consequences are not very small actually.
Yes. So in India, actually, if you're not following compliances, there is interest, penalty, imprisonment, and in most of the law, even in Companies Act also, which is simply a compliance act, but there is a lot of I'll say scope for imprisonment. So yes, you certainly want to avoid, and government is anyways rationalizing those things. So I'll not say कि everything leads to imprisonment, but penalties and fines. And anyways, in developed country also, if you are not abiding the law, that penalty number is has become substantially higher, and over a period of time, it is going to be like in income tax also. If you are not paying advance tax, there is a interest of 18%. While if you're receiving refund, you get a refund, you get your refund late, they will pay you 6%. There is a difference, big difference. So, anyways, interest and penalty. I want to avoid imprisonment certainly for all these kind of scenarios. Yes, but if there is some FEMA miscompliances, since FEMA is an RBI law and it is taken differently, every all bankers are sensitive about it, and if those things are not done properly, then there is a lot of trouble you can face from those authorities. You certainly don't want an ED or something asking you or giving you a show cause notice that why this is done and where are the documents around it.
Yeah. So for first time founders, right? Do you think most founders are aware about all these minute details before they get started? And if they are not, right, like what do you think? What is your advice on how they should go about that? Just to like educate themselves.
So what we are doing is we are building few in each of my processes in the whole fundraise. We are in building a few what knowledge snippets, I'll say, so that the founders are well informed around it. What are the consequences and what are the laws around it, and that's it. I think making them educated about what they are getting into, and the whole if the whole platform is vetted by a renowned consultant, I think that helps your cause. You can be kind of sure that you are compliant from each and every angle.
So a founder can get access to the knowledge after they sign up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Once they sign up, they can get access to all the information.
So we don't give all the knowledge on day in your 1 hour of sign up. So as the step progresses, you are feeded that information what is required to be understood, and that is how we educate. And again, blogs and all, obviously that is going to be there. The CRM team working at the back end, the support team, those are people are qualified, and they will be able to tackle any queries because they are experienced in these particular format of consultancy only. So I think uh, that watertight environment will be there for sure.
That makes sense. From what I can gather, the process it's very gruesome. Like it's a lot of effort and also a bit scary if I'm being frank.
Yes, it is. So if you are raising funds in US, actually, I have seen the process. My founder went into a platform called Clerky. He simply sent a safe agreement to his investor. His investor signed it, and within an hour, the money was in my bank account. So this is a US process, and I think I was trying to explain the India process in last 45 minutes. So US process is just you send an agreement, you receive money, that's it. That is how fundraise is done. But in India, you have to comply with 10 things. And yes,
What is the name of the platform?
so we call it Table by Salt. So Salt is our brand name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The US platform that you were talking about.
Clerky. 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 So since in US the documents and other so Clerky can be used for incorporation a company in US also. So it's a documentation platform. So that documentation platform, you can raise your safe agreements. It is signed by DocuSign at both parties, and done. You receive through wire the money in your bank account.
Yeah. So, regarding table by salt, right? What? How do you think? How does the product design process is like? Like, are you talking to a lot of founders on a day-to-day basis to understand what are like the pitfalls they are going through? Like, what does that look like?
Being again coming from the similar background, I knew exactly what is to be done. Okay, but as the So we launched our beta version, but beta version was only accessed by a few people. We were giving access to them; it was not open for public. So as I said, I have spoken to 100 of them, but because of speaking to them, it's not that I have made any changes to my platform. It's not that way. Because see, you have to do these 10 things as per checklist. It is to be done. That is there. I know these are the pain points, and even founders don't know their pain points once they are into the process. They are so used to that CA, CS, and valuer wala circle. Like, okay, जैसा CA बोलेगा, we are kind of doing the whole way. Banking also, see, efficient banking in SME and MSME space, no one has experienced that actually. So they are used to it, that someone has to follow up with their bank on a day-to-day basis. Then only things are going to move. And one more thing which I never talked about, actually, it is one of my USP. So if you're raising funds from foreign, there is a dollar conversion also happening, right? Banks make most money out of it. So if I even charge you 30 paise for 1 million dollar conversion, 30 paise, it's a substantial amount. We are, I'll say we are, the rate is 1/10. We hardly charge few paise, and that is very transparent. So again, these are small things. Once you have done a transaction, then only you become aware, okay, oh acha, I lost some amount of money over here.
Yeah, yeah.
So conversion, yes, if it's our bank account, the conversion charges are bare minimum. You will not even fill a pinch of it, like it's so small. So yes.
So I was gonna actually ask this question when you mentioned, you need to get like the exact amount in your bank that was written in your valuation report. So do you think like the conversion rates at when the investor sends the money kind of is a troublesome detail to get the exact amount?
When you are raising funds from a foreign investor, no one looks into it, at what conversion it is happening, because you want so in my example, I said 80 lakh of rupees in INR. I want that amount that gets credited. What conversion is happening, what it all is not happening, no one is aware of. So no one looks into it also. So, so what I am doing is I'm saving that exchange amount can be borne by an investor or an investing. It can be both ways. Most of the time it is investor, but if the amounts are high, that has to be reimbursed by the Indian investing company at times. But these are rare circumstances, but people can ask for. So a small NRI who is transferring say 50,000 of funds, he can ask for these small things, not a VC firm. So I'll give you a better rate for sure, and those rates are like not to be reimbursed also. It will not pinch either of the party.
So I also wanted to briefly ask you that Salt Pay is a neo bank startup, and we are seeing quite a lot of neo banks recently. I'm not really sure when it started, but in my personal experience, it's a recent phenomenon. Could you explain how that works? Is it like the bank is already there and a neobank more or less provides the technology layer on top of it, or is it something else?
You are right. So every new bank is a wrapper on an existing bank, and they provide a technology layer, and the experience is smooth. Those kind of things. Yes, one part of it is there, but we are. It's not only like okay. So neobank people. I don't want to name, but people in card business, they are also calling themselves neobank. What they have essentially done is, some bank is there, and they have kind of made that interface so intuitive, and things like, they have made small changes to it, just to make just to look attractive. But we are also doing that. It's not that we will not do it. We are also making that piece attractive, but we are also automating compliances. See, if I have your bank statement, if I have your bank statement, technically I have your everything. Your I can help you in accounting, I can help you in GST filings also, even I can do your income tax returns also. So I have everything. So so being a so being from a commerce background, so when we start accounting, first thing what you do is take a bank statement, then you do your accounting. So if I have everything, what I'm doing is I'm automating compliances. Banking is there. Those reports, reconciliation, most of the things will be at your disposal at the end of the day. So we are so one space what we discussed was table product. Another space we are getting in is into export. So export import is really a complex transaction. So if I say Sudhanshu wants to export certain handicrafts to maybe people sitting in Africa, no, New York, say in US, I actually don't know. Even I have studied GST, I have studied everything. I have that hiccup. कि, okay, I have to take 3 4 registrations. Then shipping कैसे होगा, invoices कैसे raise होंगे, what all nitty-gritties are involved, and that's a big for an SME to prosper. If they are getting into an export business, those automations need to happen. Someone, uh, anyone from an industry can come and help them, but some neo bank has to be there, or a bank has to be there who can understand their requirement and build solutions around their problem. So yes, we will be building on top of banking layer, but there are many things which is to be done.
Hmm, that makes sense. That part really made. I think the bank statement bit where since you already have the statement, you can kind of automate the compliance layer.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
So we are also getting into our card business, prepaid card business. So what happens is, you take my prepaid card. So you have 10 employees. Okay, assume you have 10 employees in a small setup, and if, all these 10 people are from sales background. And they travel here and there, and every time they come back, you have to reimburse them their expenses, and and then that dump has to be sent to your CA. So what with these prepaid card, what happens is you give them your card, you load a certain amount of money. You can also load, or even they can load. What we are doing is we are making that expense management system around it, so that if that card is swiped for an Uber, I understand it is used for transport. So you will have a dashboard. You will be able to see, कि, okay, Uber में this guy traveled so and so. So you, if you want to approve, just approve it. You have to just click okay, 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 and the whole thing gets captured in your accounts too. Accounts में capture हो गया, तो आपका financials में automatically that will flow at a later point of time. So that is on a domestic side we are doing, but we are trying to use this prepaid card in cross border space also. So there are use cases. You must have seen people coming in for treatment purposes and all in India at Indian hospitals. So yes, these kind of cards can be used over there. So trying to build solutions around it. That is what to solve problems which exist. And and every problem in a cross-border space, I'll say, is a billion-dollar opportunity. So the total cross-border in India import-export, including it, is 1.3 trillion. So we are not even talking million and billions. It is 1.3 trillion. It's a big market. We will can't solve everything. Other B2B player has to come, and then and that is the reason I think so much of uprising in B2B space in fintech is there.
Yeah. So when you mention that you are going in the card business, for example, as a team, right? How does that decision is taken? Like, how do you figure out? Okay, this is the right next thing for us to go after.
See, even I'll say. So card business, when I said it is domestic, again we are experimenting here. I see a lot of potential over there, but as a decision maker, so we have few senior folks who are groomed in banking only, I'll say. So they have much better understanding of a market. So we kind of have our internal discussion, and I'll say a decision is taken. If if my unit economics are matching, so if it's a loss making from day one, the costs are too high, no, I'm not going to do it. If my units economic, so that excel sheet, traditional excel sheet calculation के cost itna hai, I'm contemplating a revenue of so and so, and if all those things matches, yes, I'm going ahead with. I mean, these days everyone is looking for profitability. So uh, but after I think this funding winter, people are looking for profitability. But with Ankit and Salt team, from day one we are like, okay, first we will have see we'll see our economics, and we will go ahead with anything.
Hmm. So I'm also asking, like the economics question come in after the idea is there, right? So you do the economics for an idea once the idea is there. So I am trying to like ask you, how do you even come up with the idea?
See, ideas actually, if you speak to customers on a day-to-day basis. So we have one of our product. We call it inward remittance. So we give virtual accounts to my to SMEs in India for. I'll give you a US virtual account, a Singapore virtual account in 7-8 geographies. So when you start speaking to them, each one of them has a separate issue. From there you can think, okay, after discussing with them, okay, these are the areas where you can get your head into, like these are problems. So our customers, existing customers and potential customers, are only actually giving us ideas what can be done, what cannot be done. So yes, taking leave from their problems, we are solving it. And if and again, once we figure out ki, okay, this is the problem, then we do our internal research, we talk to people, we find more people to talk about it, and then we go ahead with the that
It's
calculation.
very customer focused in nature.
I think that is one of our motto: customer first. Whatever whatever a customer want, we'll try to provide it.
Yeah, yeah. I would say the compliance bit of starting a venture is something which is scary to begin with, and I really I was trying to figure out how you guys are planning to educate people regarding the product, because I also see there to be like a very good opportunity in a sense that a lot of entrepreneurs kind of feel lost and alone when it comes to things like this. Not everyone comes from a finance or a CA legal background. So I was just thinking out loud that maybe that can be an opportunity where I'm not really sure how to go about it, but like building a space where first time entrepreneurs can join in. Because the way I see Salt right now, from an outside perspective, is that you are hand holding an entrepreneur, especially in the as an entrepreneur, we don't want to really care about these things. Like if you're a product person or if you're a technical person, this is kind of a waste of time. But if you don't do it properly, you literally go to jail. So I was just thinking about Solve from that perspective per se. Yeah, especially the table product. Yeah.
Right, table is one thing which has come up. We also want to explore export import segment, because there is a lot of potential out there. And given the 5 trillion economy dream, what our government is currently having, I think there is going to be one thing which is to be done is promotion of exports. So there is a lot of potential around compliances in exports, and cross border transactions as well. So yes, we will kind of handhold entrepreneurs whenever possible, looking for use cases, as I say. So even if I'm walking on an airport, I see people around, I try to talk to them, trying to understand if at all a problem is there or not. So that is how we are building. So so one thing about Ankit was clear from day one. So initially I started conversing with client, and then I kind of dropped off. So he said कि if you are not speaking to clients, you are out of the picture. uh, you aren't aware कि क्या हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है. So yes, I even take escalations also, client escalations if at all it is there, so that I understand their pain point, because understanding only can then only I can solve something. One of them is FDI. I think soon we will uh, open the whole product for everyone, so people can experience it, rather than giving them after talking to them, giving them a login ID. That's a different experience versus I'll open the product soon.
That makes sense. Actually, I was talking to a few entrepreneurs from IIT Kharagpur, and they were asked, they're discussing about we're discussing about product market fit, and they're thinking about going for funding, and that's when I mentioned Salt Pay. Also, the point we discussed last time, that the co-founders in SaltPay also mentor YC aspirants, so that was also like a point of discussion. And yeah, it made a lot of sense that this is like a good fit, like as the table product.
Going forward, what is going to happen is कि once we have that repository of investee, people who wants to raise fund, and we will plug in few investors, we can kind of give a platform to everyone, both investor and investee. But that is again a very far-fetched idea. So we get signups on our existing table product, wherein people also want ki, can you help me in funding, which again is a very scarce resource. Maybe they try explaining me their business model and everything, but again we are not into that part, I say. So yes, going forward, I think one portion which can be opened is this. And also, the moment you said IIT Kharagpur, I recollect one of my client. So he is I think BHU, IIT BHU person, and he has a lot of connect with their alumni. So and these alumni want to invest in the college startup which comes up. But they are not able to do it. So if something if my platform is there, and if they are rest assured that all compliances is taken care of, be it in India or in US. For a US thing, I'm right now I'm not doing anything. But if something is some platform is there who is taking care of all the compliances, they will be happy to invest a small size check, which is a very do I say a small size check? $10,000 also is a big amount for people who are in college and want to do certain things. So again, that is the second level where we will want to reach. But yes, there are
Yeah,
cases.
the
Cases.
word that came up to my mind was investor confidence, in a way
Yes.
that if Salt is taking care of the compliances, more investors would be comfortable, especially from outside India, to go for the startup.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. I'm actually interviewing one of the entrepreneurs from IIT this Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So like all IITs have very unique startup communities. So we are ourselves launching like a very tiny startup program for first time entrepreneurs,
Okay.
specifically to help them with their product market fit. And we are just testing and trying to see what all things are possible in that space.
That
Like
PMF
as
is
you
a bigger issue. Yes.
yeah. So as you mentioned that most entrepreneurs, even who are serial entrepreneurs, are not really aware about most of the tiny things which can lead to imprisonment.
See, but again, what we believe is they shouldn't be aware of everything. But you can't expect everything. That's not their area of expertise. It's the whole problem comes in when the founder has to reach out to a CA firm or a CS firm or a valuer who are not kind of active in this space, then the whole problem starts. So one of the client I was discussing for the flip structure, so one of the essential element is transfer pricing. So if there is a related party transaction, it has to be done at an arm's length. So if I and Prathamesh are related companies, I have to do transaction at the same rate at which I do with an outsider. So I was explaining this to my client. My client understood, but this the consulting person with the client who he was consulting, he was not kind of comfortable doing all this thing, which is like 10 years old. I'll not say 10 years, even I read it before. It's 15 years old law, and still people are that consultant, maybe because of his old age or something. He's that client is not in the right hands. Then we suggested, okay, you can move to a different consultant, which will help you in your bigger objective. Say 5,000, 10,000 cost versus a good advice. I'll say a good advice is what you should go ahead with.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually am learning a lot because I I kind of know things in a big picture way. I know overall things, but this was like a very in detail discussion about how things can go massively wrong because of a spelling mistake.
हाँ yes it is यार मतलब for me also, even so I generally check everything. I checked it, but a dot I missed it because there was space in between. I thought ki it's there. I mean, I'm not able to see.
And you won't even guess that that's what went wrong. So
Right. So in fact, in our company name Posium Ventures Private Limited, in my employees, I have seen Venture Private Limited. They miss the S.
well, Sudhanshu, thank you for so much of your time in right in the morning. It was nice. I had a lot of fun talking to you. It was nice.
Pleasure, Prathamesh. Pleasure here. Thank you for hosting me. First of all, like as I said earlier, I'm doing it for the first time, so it was great.